مثل الذين ينفقون أموالهم في سبيل الله كمثل حبة أنبتت 7 سنابل
وكل في فلك يسبحون
ويخلق ما لا تعلمون.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله صلى الله وسلم وبارك عليه وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. Brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to a new episode of our program, The Universal Quran. Inshallah, today we are going to talk about the verse which mainly refers to the issue of equality among people. Namely, all people are the same before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying in Surah Al-Hujurat, يَا أَيُّهَا النَّاسُ إِنَّا خَلَقْنَاكُم مِّن ذَكَرٍ وَأُنثَىٰ وَجَعَلْنَاكُمْ شُعُوبًا وَقَبَائِلَ لِتَعَارَفُوا إِنَّ أَكْرَمَكُمْ عِندَ اللَّهِ أَتْقَاكُمْ إِنَّ اللَّهَ عَلِيمٌ خَبِيرٌ. O people, we have created all of you from a single pair, namely Eve and Adam alayhi salam, and we made you tribes and nations, you might know each other. Indeed, the most honorable of you is the one who fears Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala most, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has got the full knowledge and the full wisdom about His worshippers and about His people. So the verse here again is trying to attract the attention of all humanity, that all of them, regardless of their color, regardless of their race, regardless of what they have got from money, properties, whatever they have got, all these things are nothing in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But the only criterion is the one who fears Him most. We have loads of traditions which support the same meaning. One of which is the Prophet ﷺ, when he said, as I said before in the farewell sermon or Hajjat al-Wada', لا فضل العربين على عجمين ولا أبيض على أسود إلا بالتقوى. There is no priority for the Arab over the non-Arab, or for the white over the black, except with piety, or except with fearing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Sayyidina Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu, one day, while they were preparing for one of the battles, and he was in front of Sayyidina Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas, he said to him, "O Sa'd, don't be proud because you are one of the Prophet's relatives. All people are equal before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and this is the only thing by which they could be characterized or distinguished by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala." And then even the Prophet ﷺ, he said to his daughter Fatima alayha ridwanullah, "Ya Fatima i'mali فوالله لا أغني عنك من الله شيئا." I will not avail you on the day of judgment because I am the Prophet or the Messenger, but all people will be equal, and then the only balance or the only distinction that could be made among them is fearing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One of the reports which is also narrated from the Prophet Moses alayhi salam, one day one of the people from among Bani Israel, the children of Israel, stood up and he gave a kind of sermon, and he just started counting his grandfathers and so on. And after that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed to Prophet Moses alayhi salam, he said to him, "O Moses, tell this person who mentioned 9 of his grandfathers, all of them are in hellfire, and he is going to follow them as well," because he was proud and he boasted his race and he boasted his family, and of course this behavior is not accepted in Islam. Another story also, Sayyidina Abu Dharr radiallahu anhu ardahu, one day he said a bad word to Sayyidina Bilal ibn Rabah, and he said to him, "You are the son," for example, this is what was reported, "of the black mother." And the Prophet ﷺ got very, very angry, and he said to Abu Dharr, "Oh Abu Dharr, have you called him like that? Have you mentioned this to him? You made him angry, and you are a person who still have some ignorance in his heart." And Sayyidina Abu Dharr went to Sayyidina Bilal ibn Rabah, and he said to him, "You have to forgive me." And he put his face on the floor, and he said to Sayyidina Bilal, "Put your shoes here, just to make sure that you have forgiven me." And of course Sayyidina Bilal didn't do that, and he forgave Sayyidina Abu Dharr radiallahu anhum ajmain. May Allah be pleased with all of them. So in Islam, people are not characterized by what they have, or are not characterized by their positions, because all these things will be for nothing on the day of judgment, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Ghafir, or Al-Mu'min as it's called by some people. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, لِمَنِ الْمُلْكُ الْيَوْمَ لِلَّهِ الْوَاحِدِ الْقَهَارِ. The kingdom is for whom today? It's for nobody. There is no king, no president, no sultan, no emir, no ruler, no minister, no majesty, nothing at all. All these positions and all these ranks, titles will have no meaning, will be meaningless before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will only bring closer those who feared Him, and those who tried to bring reconciliation and tried to make brotherhood with others. Okay, so Allah here says, وَجَعَلْنَاكُمْ شُعُوبًا وَقَبَائِلَ لِتَعَارَفُوا. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala divided people into groups, into nations, into countries, so they might know each other. And also, as He said in Surah Al-Rum, وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ خَلْقُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَاخْتِلَافُ أَلْسِنَتِكُمْ وَأَلْوَانِكُمْ. Among the signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the difference in the color, the difference in the languages, and so on. So all people will know each other and will dwell in the land, and will construct buildings, and will of course bring more children and so on, just to dwell in the land, as this is one of the purposes of the creation, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَاسْتَعْمَرَكُمْ فِيهَا, and He told you to dwell in the land. So equality in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is something which is mentioned here. So people are not favored, or are not given any kind of privilege by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because of they belong to this noble family, because, for example, they have palaces, they have houses, they have mansions, they have all these things, of course, before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because the whole dunya, the whole world for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala equals maybe less than zero. As the Prophet ﷺ, he said, if the dunya, if the world would equal even a wing of a mosquito to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He wouldn't give the disbeliever the chance to have some water to drink. So this means that the dunya itself, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, وَمَا الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا وَمَا مَتَاعُ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيا فِي الْآخِرَةِ إِلَّا قَلِيلٌ. The pleasures that you have here compared to the pleasures in the hereafter are limited, are very little, because the pleasure here is limited and might be end, or your life itself might come to an end. So in any way you are going to lose or to miss this kind of blessing. But in the hereafter nothing will be blessed, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Al-Sajdah, فَلَا تَعْلَمُ نَفْسٌ مَا أُخْفِيَ لَهُم مِّن قُرَّةِ أَعْيُنٍ جَزَاءً بِمَا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ. No soul would know what's kept hidden of blessings and pleasures by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the hereafter. وَقَبَائِلَ لِتَعَارَفُوا إِنَّ أَكْرَمَكُمْ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ أَتْقَاكُمْ. So the issue of equality might, or is only found in Islam. In other religion, for example, people are divided into classes, and even among followers of maybe of the same religion, they have this group which, for example, is being supported by a big number of followers. But Islam is different. Islam, just let us have a look at one of the examples, or how equality is being represented in Islam. When we go for Hajj, for example, all people, they wear the same clothes, okay, and they repeat the same words, and they pray in the same direction, and they go around the same Kaaba, and they stand on the same mountain, which is Arafah, for example. This cannot be found in other religion. People left everything they have, left their families, left their positions, their belongings, left the whole world, and put the world behind their backs, and here they come before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to say labbaik Allahumma labbaik, and to perform one of the Islamic rites and so on. So in the issue, or in the festival of Hajj, for example, the meaning of the verse also is displayed vividly in a very, very clear way. So people, you find, for example, the white one, and you find the black one, you find the one who speaks Arabic, you find the one who speaks English, French, German, and all other languages, and all of them, for example, would recognize each other, because Islam brought all them under the banner of monotheism and under the banner of saying La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. وَقَبَائِلِ لِتَعَارَفُوا إِنَّ أَكْرَمَكُمْ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ أَتْقَاكُمْ. Here we have to stop for a while. What does it mean? In this life, we honor the people because according to what they have. It was reported that one day the Prophet ﷺ, while he was with the Sahaba, one of the people, he had a good mount and he was wearing in a very, very nice way and he looks nice. And the Prophet, he said to the companions, okay, what do you think about this person? They said, okay, he is a noble person, and if he asks for marriage, we will give him our daughters, and if he needs help, we will help him. The Prophet said, okay, that's fine. After a while, another person, another poor man who was not wearing well and who didn't look smart as the first one, and then the Prophet asked the companions, what would you say about this person? They said, he is poor, and if he asks for marriage, we will not give him our daughters. And if he is in need for help, we will not help him because he has nothing. So we usually rush to help those who have loads of money and so on, so we can get some of their help. And then the Prophet ﷺ taught us the example, or taught us a very, very important and a very good lesson. And he said, this person, the poor one, in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is better than hundreds of the one who passed before him, or the one who you recommended and you said, for example, that we can give him our daughter to marry and so on. So our criterion is different to that of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We judge people according to their dress, according to their money, according to their position, according to their country, according to their color, unfortunately. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He pays no attention to all these things, but He only cares about, or He only focuses on the issue of taqwa and in the issue of fearing Him most. As we said, Islam gave loads of important positions to people who came from different countries, who were not Arabs, who had nothing at all. An example is one of the Sahaba is called Julaybib. Julaybib, he was a young person, he was not rich at all, and he was poor. And then he went to one of the people asking for marriage. And then the family, they refused him. And then their daughter, subhanAllah, because she was brought up, reared in the school of the Prophet ﷺ, she said to her family, how would you refuse this person who was sent by the Prophet ﷺ? I will accept him and I will marry him. And okay, she married him only for one night. And the second day, the call for jihad, the call for war was made. And they said, for example, Hayya ala al-jihad, and come for jihad, come for fighting. And then Sayyidina Julaybib radiallahu anhu, he went for jihad and he died as a martyr. And then the Prophet ﷺ went to investigate who was martyred and so on. And he asked the Sahaba, do you miss anybody? They said, no, but we found so and so. And then he said again, do you miss anybody else? They said, no. And then the Prophet ﷺ, he said, but I miss Julaybib. And then he said, Julaybib minna al-bayt. Julaybib is one of the member of the family of the Prophet ﷺ. So this person was a normal one. And then look at the position that the Prophet ﷺ gave to him, and look at the position that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will prepare for him in the hereafter. The person, if he was living among us, for example, we wouldn't give him much attention, because we usually weigh things by a materialistic view. We don't look at things in a spiritual way or in a religious way, and this is completely wrong. You need to judge people according to their knowledge first, and according to their piety first, and then according to their knowledge, and according to their closeness, or according to their position with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the one you need to respect. And this is another issue, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, وَجَعَلْنَاكُمْ شُعُوبًا وَقَبَائِلَ لِتَعَارَفُوا. Among the things that people can know each other is the issue of marriage. Unfortunately, nowadays, the first qualification or the first condition that people ask for the man himself is how much money has he got. They ask about the money he has got, about his bank account, about whether he has got a big house or not. But the last question they might ask him about, what's your relation to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Are you close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or not? Are you a good believer or not? Do you memorize any part of the Quran or not? And this is a big contradiction to the instructions and to the orders, to the commands of the Prophet ﷺ. He said, إن جاءكم من ترضون دينه وخلقه فزوجوه إلا تفعلوه تكن فتنة في الأرض وفساد كبير. If you find the person whom you are happy with his religion, then give him your daughter. Otherwise, there will be a kind of mischief in the land. And that's what we are suffering from now. Because we judge things wrongly. We don't judge the religion in our affairs, but we mainly work against the instructions of the Prophet ﷺ, work against the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We forgot these things and we are stick to this life. We are stick to this worldly life, and we are quite far away from the instructions and guidelines of our religion, which is Islam. We need to go back to Islam. We need to go back to the Sunnah. Try to read it. Try to contemplate, to ponder over every tradition of the Prophet, for every single word that he said, for every single behavior that he adopted and he told us to follow, of course. In that way, we are going to be successful. As Sayyidina Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu, he said, لَقَدْ أَعَزَّنَا اللَّهُ بِالْإِسْلَامِ فَلَوْ ابْتَغَيْنَا الْعِزَّةَ فِي غَيْرِهِ أَذَلَّنَا اللَّهُ. Indeed, we have been given victory, we have been given honor, we have been given all these privileges because we are Muslims. If we try to find victory or try to find honor in another thing or something else, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give us a kind of humiliation. And this is what the Ummah is suffering from now. Why? Why we are going through this difficult situation that we are going through now? Because we are quite far away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala orders. We are different, we are separated, we are divided. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala warned us against that. And He said in the Holy Quran, وَأَطِيعُوا اللَّهَ وَرَسُولَهُ وَلَا تَنَازَعُوا فَتَفْشَلُوا وَتَذْهَبَ رِيحُكُمْ وَاصْبِرُوا إِنَّ اللَّهَ مَعَ الصَّابِرِينَ.
يهدي به الله من اتبع رضوانه سبل السلام.
And sisters, to increase your iman.
خيركم من تعلم القرآن وعلمه ورتل القرآن ترتيلا. Learning how to recite the Quran properly, learning the meaning of what we recite, concluding the ahkam from the verses which we recite, trying to implement what we learn in our daily life. Would listen to the participants and the guests. We'll take your phone calls. We're going to recite live. We'll listen to your recitation and we'll correct it according to the rules and regulations which we'll state in each episode. Now your dream will come true.
إِنَّا نَحْنُ نَزَّلْنَا الذِّكْرَ وَإِنَّا لَهُ لَحَافِظُونَ.
يهدي به الله من اتبع رضوانه سبل السلام.
Indeed, if we want to understand, we need to understand the essence of Islam, the core of Islam. Islam is not just a few words that you say and just you pray. No, this is okay, that's fine. But Islam is something comprehensive. It's something more important than the conception that the people have. And then again, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as we said before, وَقَبَائِلَ تَعَارَفُوا إِنَّ كَرَمَكُمْ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ أَتْقَاكُمْ. So the Quran is repeating the same word, taqwa, again. We talked about it in the last episode, and now the Quran is talking about the same issue because it is very important. Means taqwa, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Al-Tahrim, يا أيها الذين آمنوا قوا أنفسكم وأهليكم نارا وقودها الناس والحجارة. Try to make a kind of barrier between you and committing sins. Try to make a barrier between you and hellfire, and always try to pave the way to be admitted to paradise. And this could only be achieved by fearing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as He says in Surah Al-Imran, أعدت للمتقين. So وسارعوا على مغفرة من ربكم وجنة. So the muttaqeen, those who feared Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they will have forgiveness by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they will be admitted to paradise, and they will have the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this life and in the hereafter. So wattaqullah, because it's something which is very important. the Prophet ﷺ encouraged us to do that many times. And the Sahaba radiallahu anhum ajma'in used to fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and used to adopt the issue of taqwa. And we need, of course, so when somebody, for example, says to us, taqillah, fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you need to listen carefully to that, to do that, because Sayyidina Umar used to listen to every word of the Quran. One day he was scared and he felt ill because he listened to one of the verses which says, Inna adhab rabbika lawaqi, in the chapter of At-Tur. Indeed, the punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to take place. So he was scared that the punishment might come during his lifetime. وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ إِنَّ اللَّهَ عَلِيمٌ خَبِيرٌ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows very well who fears him, as he says in Surah An-Najm, فَلَا تُزَكُّوا أَنفُسَكُمْ هُوَ أَعْلَمُ بِمَنِ اتَّقَى. So don't pretend that you are taqi. Don't pretend that you fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because taqwa is something that only found in the heart. And it's only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who knows very well whether you are fearing Him or not, whether you are doing this kind of worship for His own sake or for showing off. And if you do that for the sake of being seen by people, you will have no reward by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Your deed will be spoiled. Inna Allah alimun khabir. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows those people who fear Him most, and knows those people who fear Him for the sake of fame, for the sake of reputation, to say that he is a good worshipper, he is a religious person, he is a kind-hearted man, and so on. So we need, of course, to make everything with sincerity, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only accepts the good deeds that are followed by sincerity. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept our good deeds and to make this month blessed, and to accept our fasting, and to accept our qiyam and everything, and inshallah to make this month as a kind of forgiveness for our past sins. At the end, I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to gather all of us in His paradise under the banner of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. At the end, I leave you in the protection and safety of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala until we meet again. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
وترى الجبال تحسبها جامدة وهي تمر مر السحاب صنع الله الذي أتقن كل شيء إنه خبير بما تفعلون.
مثل الذين ينفقون أموالهم في سبيل الله كمثل حبة أنبتت 7 سنابل
وكل في فلك يسبحون.
ويخلق ما